Okay, and now we're ready. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for participating in ABCA's public roll call hearings via the WebEx platform. My name is Laverne Fletcher. I will be conducting the roll call hearings as the board's agent. There are 5 cases on the calendar today. The first case on the calendar is Good Hope Deli and Market. This is case number 23PRO00095, BNG Corp. 1736 Good Hope Road Southeast. Retailer Class B Grocery, license number ABRA 108872. This is a application for a license renewal. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet. My name is Laverne Fletcher, conducting the roll call hearing as the board's agent. Is anyone present on behalf of Good Hope Deli and Market? Is anyone present on behalf of the group of 11?
Yes, hey, good morning, Ms. Fletcher. This is Patrick O'Keefe, the designated representative, and I'm joined by 5 other signatories of the protest.
Thank you, Mr. O'Keefe. Can you spell your name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Patrick, Patrick, O'Keefe, O''K',
Thank you. I'm ready for the names of the other individuals present. If you could state your name and spelling for the record, please.
Hi, this is Daniel McGee, DANIEL MCGEE.
Andrew Nguyen, ANDREW NGUIEN.
Hi, everyone. This is Emily McGee, EMILY MCGEE.
Morning, everybody. Joel, ANDREW,
So you're breaking up really bad. Can you try that one more time?
Yep, sorry. Andrew, ANDREW.
Okay, thanks, Rena. Excuse me, 1 second, please.
SCHICHTEL.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Amy Hagelstein, JAIMEHAGELSTEIN.
Okay, thank you. And can you spell your last name one more time, please?
Sure. HAGE.
D like dog? D like dog?
H is in hamburger, A is in apple, G is in Good Hope Road, E is an elephant, L as in L, S, T.
Hello, this is Patricia Brown.
Excuse me, Miss Brown, just 1 second. Okay, ST.
I, N is in never.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else present from the group? Thank you. I count a total of 6 individuals present from the group, which means that the group is granted full standing as a protestant. I have just been informed that the applicant actually appeared in person. So she is in the receptionist area. I cannot go to greet her right now because I'm here with you. But I am going to acknowledge her presence. And so that means I'm not going to dismiss the application. but I'm going to proceed with scheduling the upcoming proceedings. We have to schedule a date for mediation, a status hearing, and a protest hearing. I'm going to give you the dates for the status and protest hearing first. The status hearing is scheduled for March 13, 2024 at 10:30. The protest hearing is scheduled for April the 10th, 2024 at 1:30. We need to set a date for mediation. I will give you the next available dates. The next available day for mediation is Monday, February 5 at 11:30 or 1:30. That's the next available day, if that's good for you, Mr. O'Keefe. And I will inform the applicant later of the date. And so, Mr. O'Keefe, pick the date that's most convenient for you.
The 11:30 on that, the 5th would be perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. O'Keefe, I'm going to, following roll call this morning, I'm going to send you a message and let you know. Well, actually, I'm going to copy you on an email that I sent to the applicant and giving he or she the dates. And if the date for mediation needs to change, we'll coordinate a new date.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there are no questions, the roll call hearing in this matter is concluded. Sorry about that. The next case on the calendar is New Leaf Smoke Shop. This is case number 24PRO00. Issa, I'm hearing noise in your background.
I just unmuted my microphone. What are you guys hearing?
Okay, the next case on the calendar is, it's actually your case.
Yeah.
That's a New Leaf Smoke Shop, case number 24PRO00004. New Leaf Smoke Shop LLC, 416 H Street Northeast, license number 126727. This is a Class MC for a new medical cannabis retailer. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet, residential parking, and vehicular and pedestrian safety, and real property values. My name is Laverne Fletcher, conducting the roll call hearing as the board's agent. Is anyone present on behalf of New Leaf Smoke Shop?
I am present. Owner Issa Benora. It's spelled ISSA. B as in boy. A. N like no. OURAH. For New Leaf Smoke Shop.
Thank you very much. Is anyone present on behalf of ANC 6C?
Yes, I am. My name is Drew Courtney, and I'm the designated representative. DREW, last name COURTNEY.
Thank you. ANC 6C does have standing as a protestant. We need to set a date for mediation, status and protest hearing. I'll give you the dates for the status and protest hearing first. The status hearing is scheduled for February 14, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. The protest hearing is set for March 20, 2024 at 1:30. I will give you the next available day for mediation. The next available day is Wednesday, February 7, anytime between 10:30 and 1:30.
I'm sorry, I can't do anything on the 7th. I have a medical issue.
Okay, well, the 8th is available.
Can do the 8th.
Thursday, February 8th. Thursday, February 9. Both those days are available anytime between 10:30 and 1:30.
I can do on the 8th anytime before 1 p.m.
Okay, what about 11:30 on the 8th? Would that work for you, Mr. Courtney?
Yes.
Would that work for you, Mr. Benora?
Yes, ma'am. And so just I'm on the same page. This is mediation in hopes that we
And
can.
I should, excuse me 1 second, for the court reporter, this is Mr. Benora speaking.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
Mr.
say
Benora
that
speaking.
one more time, please.
So the question is that does mediation is in hopes to come up with some kind of agreement before the actual hearing itself?
Yeah, to resolve the matter in some way if possible. Mediation is a requirement. You're not required to resolve the matter in mediation, but you have an opportunity to do so.
Right. Can I just speak on how silly their protest is for
Actually, this is
property value,
Mr. No,
noise? I mean, we've been in operation 7 years.
This is not the time.
Yeah,
We'll talk about it later.
it's just so
We
silly.
have mediation coming up, and we'll get a chance to talk about your concerns at that time.
For sure.
Okay, well, I will set the mediation for February 8th at 11:30 a.m. And I will send you then. I will send out the WebEx invitation and I will see you at that time.
Lovely. Thank you so kindly, Ms. Fletcher. I appreciate you.
You're very welcome. Okay. Anything, Mr. Courtney?
Nope, that's great.
Okay, thank you very much. The roll call hearing in this matter is concluded. Thank you. The next case on the calendar is Powerhouse Cultivation Center, case number 24PRO00003, ABCA LLC, 2335 Bladensburg Road Northeast. This is a Class MC license application for a new medical cannabis manufacturer. I'd first like to say that the establishment is located in the, Langdon Park Moratorium Zone. That's first of all. Is anyone present on behalf of the applicant?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Good morning, Ms. Fletcher.
Morning, Mr. Mixon.
This is Cameron Mixon with the Veritas Law Firm. That's CANERON MIXON, and we are counsel to the applicant.
Thank you very much. The person that just said something, are you a part of this case?
Yes, but not for the applicant. For the
Well, let's
protest.
start with you then. Well, let's start with you then. Which you're a protestant?
Yes.
For which group?
Carter.
Let me get your name, Carter. Are you
Althea Carter.
Althea Carter?
Yes.
Okay, well, Miss Carter, let's start with you. Would you spell your name for the record, please?
A is in apple, L is in license, T is in table, H is in history, E is in ever, A is in apple. Carter. C is in car, A is in apple, R is in retro, T is in table, E is in ever, R is in retro.
Miss Carter, you're representing a group of 3?
Yes.
Are any members of your group present today?
Yes.
If those individuals would state their name and spell it for the record, please.
Marinia Scott, first name spelled M is in Mary, O is in Oscar, R is in Roger, I is in Igloo, N is in Nancy, I is in Igloo, A is in Apple. Last name is Scott, S is in Sam, C is in Cat, O is in Oscar, T is in Tom, T is in Tom.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Anyone else?
Mr. and Mrs. Owens, I'll have them state their name and spell it.
Okay. Is there anyone else from this group present?
Yes.
Can you state your name one more time?
Rickard Owens, RICAUD OWENS.
That's the first name?
Rickard, RICAUD. Last name Owens, OWENS.
Thank you. So those are the three members of the protest group. Because this establishment is located in a moratorium zone, there only needs to be three members to a protest group. This protest group of three does have standing as a protestant. Is there anyone present on behalf of the Adams Row Homeowners Association?
Yes, Nicholas Mallon, president here.
Mr. Mallon, would you spell your name for the record, please?
Sure, it is spelled NICHOLAS. First name Mallon, MALIN.
Mallon is your first name and Nicholas is your last name?
Excuse me, sorry. Nicholas first name, Mallon last name.
Oh, okay. Mr. Mallon,
Correct.
homeowners associations do not have standing as protestants, which means that the protest filed by the homeowners association has to be dismissed. I am dismissing the protest filed by the homeowners association today, but you may petition the ABC board to reconsider that decision today.
Okay. Thank you, Laverne.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming. We've got two more groups of three. Is Cindy Smith present today?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Ms. Smith, would you spell your name for the record, please?
CINDYSMITH.
Ms. Smith, you're representing a group of three?
Yes.
Is there anyone present from your group today?
Yes.
I'm ready for the names of those individuals.
Leon is Savers.
Is Leon here? Is Leon present? Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Is Leon present?
He's not able to speak. This is
Yeah, I'm
Gilbert.
not able.
Did
So
you
she
say
can't
Leon is
speak.
not able to? It's just a second. Just a
I'm
second. I
sorry.
see a
I'm
raise.
calling in, and I'm not able to see who's there in the meeting.
Who's speaking, Ms. Smith?
I am speaking, Miss Smith. Yes.
And what did you just say?
I said I'm calling on my phone, and I cannot see who is in the meeting.
Okay. I see a hand raised. Just one second, Mr. Smith.
Yes,
G. Smith, are you a part of this protest group, Mr. Smith?
I am part of the protest group. I am also president of Gateway Community Association.
So, Mr. Smith, are you a part of the group of three being represented by Cindy Smith?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. G. Smith, would you spell your name for the record, please?
First name is Gilbert. GILBERT. Last name is Smith, Smith.
Smith.
That's correct. I raised my hand for as a question in this proceeding, separate from the group of three.
I'm ready for the question.
So my question has to do with the HOA submission. It's not just for the HOA. It includes a group of three. Three of the representatives are here from the Adams Row Homeowners Association. I need to clarify one other point with regard to the group of three under Ms. Carter. The three members of Ms. Carter's protest are Mr. and Mrs. Owens. You heard from Mr. Owens. Ruth Owens is also present. You can see her to the right of Mr. Owens. She is part of the group of three of Ms. Carter. Marinia, who spoke during the group of three from Ms. Carter, is representative of Adams Row Homeowners Association. The third person of Adams Row Homeowners Association is also here, and that is Carolyn Hunter, and she has her hand up.
So let me do this. Ms. Carter is going to have to speak on behalf of her group. Ms. Carter, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, thank you. Just a moment, please.
I'm sorry.
No, just give me 1 minute.
No problem.
For Ms. Carter. Okay, somebody needs to.
Leslie.
Hold it, please.
Ms. Carter.
Yes.
Ms. Carter, can you unmute yourself for a moment?
I have.
I need you to clarify something for me, please.
Yes.
I'm looking at your protest letter. You're representing a group of three.
Yes.
The names that I have on your protest letter are Ricard Owens.
Yes.
And Ruth T. Owens. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
And you also have one other person present today, Marinia Scott.
No. She's with the Homeowners Association.
So Marinia Scott did introduce herself, right?
Yes, she
Ms.
did.
Scott, are you here?
Yes, she did.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Marinia did introduce herself.
So just hold on a second. I need to keep straight for the court reporter who's speaking. So let me do this. Ms. Carter, what did you just say?
Marinia Scott did introduce herself, but she is not with my group of three. My group of three includes the Owenses, Mr. Owens, Mrs. Owens, and me.
Well, let's clarify something.
Marinia Scott is with the Homeowners Association.
Let's clarify something. Ms. Scott,
yes,
where
ma'am.
are you?
I'm here.
Ms. Scott, you are not a part of the group of three.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete you as a member of the group of three because you're not, which means that Ms. Carter, only two of you are present from your group today.
No, three of us are present.
Who's the third
my
person?
Group. Mr. Owens is here, Mrs. Owens is here, and I am here.
So Mrs. Owens is here?
Yes.
Ruth Owens is here?
She is.
Ms. Owens, would you state your name and spell it for the record, please?
Ruth, R-U-T-H, T, middle initial, Owens, O-W-E-N-S.
Okay, Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Because there are three members from your group present today, your group still does have standing as a protestant.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Miss Cindy Smith?
Yes. Yes.
For you, we have you present today. We have Mr. Gilbert Smith present today, and we have Leon. Is that Seekers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because there are 3 members present from your group today, your group does have standing as a protestant.
Great.
We have one more group of 3. Is Maurice Hendricks here today?
I am
Mr. Hendricks, would you state your name for the record, please?
Maurice Hendricks. First name Maurice, Maurice. Last name Hendricks, Hendrix.
Are there any other members from your group present today?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Yes. Patricia Brown. First name Patricia, Patricia. Last name Brown, Brown.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Anyone else? Anyone else from your group present today, Mr. Hendricks?
Yes, my wife. I'm not sure that her mic is working.
Oh,
I can hear her trying to spell her name downstairs, but her mic is not working. Hold on one
can
second.
you tell me her name?
Kimba Hendricks. KEMBAHENDRIX.
You can hear her trying to.
Yeah, you can see her on the list of participants, but for some reason,
Yes,
her mic is not working.
I see it. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Hendricks, 3 members of your group are present today, which means that your group of 3 has standing as protestants.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then we have the Gateway Community Association. Is anyone present on behalf of the association?
Yes, I am Gilbert Smith.
Mr. Smith, would you spell your name for the record, please?
It's GILBERT. Last name is spelled SMITH.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, can you confirm that the applicant was given at least a 7-day notice of the meeting that you held concerning the application?
She has been given notice.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Mr. Smith?
She has been given notice.
It was given notice. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we have, in this case, we have 3 groups of 3 as protestants, and we have the Gateway Community Association as a protestant. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet, residential parking and vehicular and pedestrian safety, real property values, and overconcentration.
Excuse me, Ms. Fletcher.
Yes, who's speaking?
This is Carlin Hunter.
Hi, Ms. Hunter.
I have a question about the Homeowners Association.
About the what, Ms. Hunter?
The Adams Row Homeowners Association.
Yes.
We are 3 individuals who live in the moratorium zone. Our homeowners association is within that moratorium zone. We are residents directly behind Mr. Smith, and we live in the community. And I guess I want to understand why our protest was dismissed if we are residents that fit within that moratorium zone.
it was the homeowners association that was dismissed. If there had been a protest filed by your group of three, I understand that you're a part of the homeowners association, Ms. Hunter, but the association itself does not have standing as a protestant. In order for you as a member of a group of individuals to be considered as protestants, the three of you would have needed to file a separate protest.
This is Nicholas Mallon of the Homeowners
Just,
Association.
just a second. Give me 1 second to see if Ms. Hunter has anything to add.
I'll defer to Nicholas, who lives a couple of doors down from me.
What is Nicholas's last name?
Mallon, M-A-L-I-N.
Mr. Mallon. Okay, you are a member. You're the president of the Adams Row Homeowners Association.
That's correct. We did file such a letter with three separate individuals, signed by three individuals in our particular section of the community protesting.
Have those three individuals been a part of either of the other groups of three that have been granted standing today?
They have not.
Looking at your protest letter, Mr. Malin, I see that you signed it. I see that the treasurer signed it, and that a member at large signed it.
That's correct.
They all signed as members of the association, so that's not considered a group of three.
So because we put, just to understand.
Mr. Malin, I'm sorry, Mr. Malin, before you speak, could you state your name?
Yes, Nicholas Mallon speaking. So just to totally understand the procedural issue here, because we signed using our board titles, that nullifies our protest letter, whereas had we signed with no board titles, we would be admitted to the protest. Is that correct?
Well, actually, your protest letter says on behalf of the board members of the Adams Row Homeowners Association. That's what your protest letter says.
That's correct.
And so that's who filed the protest, the association, not the three individuals. Although three members of your association signed the protest letter, your protest letter says that you filed a protest on behalf of the homeowners association. It was the homeowners association that was dismissed as a protester.
Okay.
Is that in? I'm sorry, this is
Miss
Hunter.
So, okay, what did you say, Miss Hunter?
Is that in section 25-601 that prevents?
Yes, if you look at 25-601, you will not see that homeowners associations have standing as protestants. Mr. Smith, you're going to say something?
Yes, thank you. I've been working with Abra's administrative assistant that have received the various protests on behalf of the Gateway residents. I specifically asked her whether the homeowners association was acceptable. She said it was. She acknowledged it. I also asked her procedurally how many people needed to be represented here at this hearing. She specifically said, and I can send you the email, I will send you the email, that the homeowners association did not have to have 3 members. And so therefore there is one, the president is represented. The other members who signed the letter are also represented. So there's a bit of confusion procedurally. Now we may not resolve, I know you're in the control here. We may not resolve it here, but there's absolutely confusion on the record.
Yeah, Mr. Smith, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I am assuming, and I don't know this, that our administrative assistant would have said that the homeowners association's protest was received, acknowledged and received, and not said whether or not the homeowners association had standing as a protestant.
If I may.
When a homeowners association files a protest, if the three individuals that signed the protest letters are members of the association, in this case, it was the treasurer and an at-large member, those individuals are considered a part of the association. They're not considered as members of a part of a group of three. Mr. Cameron, Mr. Mixon?
I'm sorry. I wasn't finished, but I can raise my
Oh, I'm
hand.
sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Again, I want to clarify, it was not with regard to the group of three. The question I had with the administration is that she did not confirm standing. This meeting, as I understand, is to determine standing. What I was trying to get clear procedurally, who needs to be at this meeting to determine standing. And she specifically said, for homeowners association, A and C members, only one representative was needed. Well, I understand that 3 people signed. So in addition, she said, for other members, such as group of 3 or more, those individuals need to be here. That's separate from a homeowners association. So again, for the record, I'm confused. And I think the homeowners association is confused. I will also say, if I may.
Go ahead.
That I have been through these proceedings at least 3 times. The last time we went through this roll call hearing, there was also confusion. So I'll go on the record that it's continuous confusion. Now, we will follow the procedures as has been said. We vehemently protest as applicant. I will yield back to you on this point, but it's a bit of frustration. We're spending our time as residents to protest this proceeding, and procedurally it's just a mess. Thank you.
Homeowners associations do not have standing as protestants.
But the rules are now being made. We read the rules. We asked the procedures. We follow the procedures.
Yeah,
But it is now being dismissed. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Okay.
I do appreciate your time. I really do appreciate the fact that you allowed this to be virtual. And so we will proceed accordingly. But we're on the record as not agreeing with the procedures.
Okay. So homeowners associations do not have standing as protestants. Ms. Scott, you referenced 25, DC Official Code 25-1601. Take a look at that and you will see that homeowners association are not listed as entities that have standing as protestants. I'm going to move along. Mr. Mixon, you have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Fletcher. As stated in the applicant's motion to dismiss the initial group of 3, and unfortunately was not addressed to the full range of protestants, but applicable, I would say across all of them, is that the DC Council has only bestowed standing to protest medical cannabis licenses to advisory neighborhood commissions. To my knowledge, none of the protest groups here today are advisory neighborhood commissions. In its opposition to the motion to dismiss, that is from Cindy Smith's group of 3, she cites to the statute section giving standing to various groups to protest alcoholic beverage licenses, but that's inapplicable to medical cannabis applications.
Okay, and so Mr. Mixon, you're going to be filing motions to dismiss each of the groups of 3?
I will if needed, but I mean, I'm raising it here as a preliminary issue. I don't think they should be granted standing in the first place.
You don't think they should be granted standing because groups of 3 are not allowed to file protests in medical cannabis cases?
Yes, it's nowhere in the medical cannabis statute. The boards on regs only describe advisory neighborhood commissions as having standing or participating in protest hearings. In fact, I'm looking at the board's official response to the second cannabis rulemaking, and it itself states that only advisory neighborhood commissions have been granted standing.
Is only that advisory neighborhood commissions can be granted standing as protestants?
Yes.
Mr. Mixon, do you have any other information regarding the order that you're looking at, for example, in order number?
This is not a order from a contested case, but rather the board's own rulemaking in response to public comment. But I mean, just moreover, if you go to Title VII, which deals with procedures for applications, requirements for licenses, and then procedural requirements for the board to adjudicate protests, the only group within described is advisory neighborhood commissions. We've been discussing the moratorium zone, but that itself is also part of Title 25 and only applicable to alcoholic beverage licenses.
And so the rulemaking doesn't specifically say that groups of three cannot file protests, but it does say that ANCs can be granted standing. It doesn't specifically refer to groups of three, but it only refers to the ANCs.
Yes, and it's Title VII is for medical cannabis, Title 25 is for alcohol. They don't overlap.
Thank you, Mr. Mixon. Mr. Mixon, for the purpose of the roll call hearing, I'm going to grant standing to the groups of three because I'm not aware that they cannot be granted standing. I'm going to research the information that you provided when I get back to my desk, and I am going to make a note here that there's a possibility that you'll be filing a motion to dismiss the groups of three.
And yes, the other two parties.
Ms. Carter, Ms. Smith, and Mr. Hendricks, what that means is that if Mr. Mixon files a motion to dismiss your groups of three, you'll receive a copy of the motion and you will have an opportunity to respond to the motion, and the ABC board will take your responses into consideration as well.
All right.
Okay.
Mr.
All right.
Smith?
Yes, Ms. Fletcher.
I saw your hand.
No, thank you for acknowledging my hand. Ms. Fletcher, this continues to be confusing. As the attorney just mentioned, the procedures, and I'm no lawyer, but I find it hard to follow. The motion to dismiss was for one group, and now it may be covering the entire group. If the intent was to cover the entire group, they should have issued a dismissal for the entire group of three. And so it seems like we're arbitrarily coming up with procedures. And I realize he's quoting a reg. We quoted a reg in our request for dismissal. We quoted regs in our protest. And so unless the regs are not clear, let me just say this. They're not clear to me as a layperson, a non-lawyer. But I am educated well enough to follow procedures. And members that are representing the Gateway community are doing the same. So I strongly recommend that clarity be provided. Otherwise, we're literally wasting our time. Just go ahead and approve the evidence, and we'll be done. And we'll deal with this separately. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the roll call hearing must be held. What Mr. Mixon said is that he will be filing a motion to dismiss each group of three. And so we have three separate groups. So he would be filing a motion to dismiss the group represented by Ms. Carter, the group represented by Ms. Smith, and the group represented by Mr. Hendricks. Those would be three separate motions to dismiss. So I hope that provides some clarity.
It does not. It absolutely does not.
What,
I understand.
why is so, Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith, let me do this because I'm gonna have to move on. If you could just tell me why that's not clear, maybe I can further clarify.
Ms. Fletcher, I followed absolutely everything you said, but the procedures do not seem to be fair in terms of process. If the applicant were to dismiss the group of three, they should have done it early on. It seems like you're now allowing them to do something that should have been done. You've granted us standing, and now that process may be negated. And so it just seems like they're arbitrary and capricious procedures that are just being generated as part of this process. I'm going to defer to Ms. Hunter, who also has her hand up. But I'm livid. I'm a 30+ year resident in Gateway community, trying to represent 400 homes in this community. It's just absolutely frustrating. I have my members of the Gateway community online. We're the largest group of this protesting, and it's just a waste of time. I defer to Ms. Hunter. Thank you.
Well, the Gateway Association was granted standing, and so you'll have an opportunity to represent your constituents. I'm going to hear from Ms. Hunter first. You have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you. Just to echo Mr. Smith's point, your website has a link that tells people how to protest applications. On that website, it corresponds with what you're saying with respect to groups of three, ANCs, etc. It makes no distinction between what to do for a cannabis license protest versus an alcohol protest. So the public is left with a set of rules. And in this case, everyone here is abided by those rules. And so to the extent Mr. Mixon files a motion to dismiss, you all should consider the undue burden and prejudice that will be had to all the applicants who followed the rules published by this body.
Yes, and Ms. Hunter, if Mr. Mixon does file a motion to dismiss, you'll have an opportunity to make exactly that point. And I understand what you're saying. So I can understand why it's not clear. I understand what you're saying 100%. And so I granted standing.
Now, the second point is, I'm sorry, with respect to his ability to file a motion of protest. So this meeting, as I understand it, is to establish standing. And so any objections to the establishment of standing should be made prior to the standing hearing.
No, that's actually done during the roll call hearing. It can be these kind of issues are resolved during the roll call hearing.
And this is the roll call. This is the roll call hearing. Exactly.
This is the roll. Yes.
So that's my point. So he filed a motion, properly filed, to protest, to dismiss one group so that that group would not have standing. And that motion that he filed has been determined by you because you've granted standing. And to Mr. Smith's point, he's out of time for filing procedurally because this is the place that it should be addressed. He's out of time procedurally for filing additional motions to dismiss. One, because you've already granted the standing to these groups, number one. And number two, the opportunity for those groups who he's now objecting to respond has also elapsed.
No, Ms. Hunter, just so that you know, it hasn't lapsed, it hasn't started. That doesn't start until you receive those groups. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to move on, Ms. Hunter, and I'll give you my email address and we can follow up with any other questions that you have.
Okay.
And so the time has not lapsed for the groups of three to respond to Mr. Mixon's motion. He has not yet filed it. That time doesn't start to run until the board issues an order, one way or the other. And so if Mr. Mixon files his motion to dismiss the three groups of three, the designated representatives for those groups of three will be so informed. They'll receive a copy of the motion. Mr. Mixon will have to send a copy of the motion to each one of those designated representatives, at which time they will have an opportunity to respond to those motions. The board will look at Mr. Mixon's motion and the responses from the designated representatives from the group at the same time and make a decision as to whether or not to dismiss the groups of three. They have not been dismissed at this point. That would be an ABC board decision. That doesn't happen today. I haven't ruled on a motion. The board's agent does not rule on motions. And so they will have an opportunity to respond. Ms. Carter?
How much time would we have to respond?
The board order will tell you. I believe it's maybe 10 days, 14 days. I don't recall at this moment, but you'll have a period of time to respond.
Okay, and then I have one more question, please.
When you receive if Mr. Mixon files the motion to dismiss, I believe you would respond within 7 days, but you'll be informed as you go along.
Okay, now on the regs, if it says ANC only, it's not even though it says only, it's not specifically precluding us from filing the protest.
And that's
it's
a
not
decision
precluding our group.
Yeah, that's a
in the
decision
regs.
that's a decision, Ms. Carter, that the board would make. And if your group is when Mr. Mixon, if he files his motion to dismiss, in your response, I suppose that would be the point that you would make. I'm gonna move on to Mr. Mixon, and then I'm gonna move on. Mr. Mixon?
I understand and attune to the need to file a amended motion, and we'll be planning to do so for the board's consideration as soon as possible. But is it not a preliminary matter that the protestants are simply not contained within the scope of standing? Like, it's not prescribed by the statute applicable to medical cannabis licenses.
And the ABC board will sort that out if Mr. Mixon files his motion. But for the purpose of the roll call hearing today, the group of three, each group of three has been granted standing as protestants.
I understand.
I'm just making that point for the protestants.
Thank you.
Will we receive notices with the contact information and designated representatives of each party?
I'm sorry, who's speaking?
Sorry, still Mr. Mixon.
Who's speaking?
The applicant.
Oh, what was the question, Mr. Mixon?
Will we be receiving notices with contact information and the designated representatives of the various protestants?
Yeah, I will provide you, Mr. Mixon, with the contact information for the designated representatives so that you can serve them with the motion.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Fletcher.
Thank you. I'm going to make a note of that. 1 second, please. Okay, I'll take this, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. I have two questions. Are there two applications before in this proceeding?
For Powerhouse?
Yes.
Yes. The
Okay,
next one, the next case is also for Powerhouse.
So when you say the next case, are we continuing the roll call for the other Powerhouse application?
So there are two separate applications. This is for this proceeding right now is for the medical cannabis Cultivation Center. I mean, no, not the medical cannabis. Sorry. It's for the medical cannabis manufacturer.
Okay, thank you.
The next one is for the Cultivation Center. So they're two separate cases. I know the parties are
Okay, thank you.
the same in both. You're welcome.
Yes, yeah, right. So that's what I needed to have clarified in terms.
Yes.
I understand. I know we're short on time, so I
No, that's okay. We have time. I'm glad you asked it because pretty much what we discussed in this case is going to apply to the next one. But you know, there's some other parties in the next case as well.
okay. So I'm a little short on time as well as I have another meeting, but I will try to stay on just for the record. Let me just for the record clarify the motion of dismissal. I saw the motion of dismissal for the party of three that included Cindy Smith as the representative. It did not give a time frame. The motion to dismiss came on the 23rd. They did not have a 7-day time frame. There was continuous follow-up on that motion for a response. And therefore, that's why you got the response on Sunday, because obviously before this proceeding. So it was rushed to get you a response, but it was put on the record. I just want to be clear on that. So when you say that there's a 7-day time frame, that did not happen. And it's also not clear whether the dismissal was for both the protest for both applications. Now I'll go back and look at it, but I just want to make sure we're absolutely clear what is being done. So for the record, I think we need to follow up and research that amongst others.
Well,
thank you.
I will do that. I'm not aware of any motions that Mr. Mixon has filed. As of this moment right here, I'm not aware of any motion that has been filed already. But for the purpose of the roll call, this case stands where it stands as of today. It could change later once the board reviews any motions or responses to motions. And Mr. Smith, yes, I'm going to have to do some research of my own based on what you're saying and based on some of what I've heard today related to medical cannabis.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Mr. Hendricks, I'm going to hear from you and then I'm going to move to the next case.
Thank you. I just had a question. There's another roll call for another case that I'm involved in right next, the next powerhouse. Do we all have to stay on again to spell our name?
You sure do, because they're two separate cases, and maybe
Okay.
you'll have more clarity next go round, and so the next case won't take as long.
Yeah, I don't need more clarity. I just need to spell my name for the next one so I could go.
The next case will go by much faster.
Okay.
Because you won't have the same questions.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, we need to set a date for mediation, a status hearing, and a protest hearing. I'm going to give you the date for the status and protest hearing first. The status hearing is scheduled for February 14, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. That's for the status hearing. The protest hearing is set for March the 20th, 2024 at 1:30. I will give you the next available day for mediation. The next available day for mediation is Wednesday, February 7, anytime between 10:30 and 1:30. So, my first question is that a good day for you, Mr. Mixon? February 7, anytime between 10:30 and 1:30. And Ms. Carter, Ms. Smith, Mr. Hendricks, and Mr. Smith, you can be looking at that date as well. That would be Wednesday, February 7, anytime between 10:30 and 1:30. That's not good for everyone. I'll choose a different date to consider.
Are these virtual also?
Yes, Mr. Hendricks, was that you asking that question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's virtual.
Then yes, that's fine for me.
Time is fine for me, Miss Carter. The time is fine for me.
Fine for Ms. Carter, fine for Mr. Hendricks. What about you, Ms. Smith?
Smith had to drop off.
Cindy Smith, are you still here? Okay, Mr. Mixon, what about you? Oh. Mr. Mixon, you're muted right now.
I'm sorry. Were we still discussing February 7th?
February 7, anytime between 10:30 and 1:30.
I'm sorry. Could we choose a different day? I will be in hearing at the board.
Well, we can move to Friday, February 9. Is that a good day?
Yes,
Mr.
that
Mixon?
works.
So mediation is available on Friday, February 9, anytime between 10:30 and 1:30.
Do 10:30.
Ms. Carter, would 10:30 work for you?
That will work.
What about you, Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Mr. Smith, would that work for you?
Yes, I'll make it work. I cannot speak for Ms. Smith, but for myself, I will make it work.
Okay. Thank you. Mediation is set for Friday, February 9 at 10:30 a.m. and I will send out the WebEx invitation. Okay.
And I'm sorry, 1 second, Ms. Fletcher, if I may, just to confirm, was that status on February 14th?
For the status hearing, Mr. Mixon,
Yes.
the status hearing is February 14th.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
10:30 a.m. You're welcome. Okay, the roll call hearing in this matter is concluded. The next case on the calendar is Powerhouse Cultivation Center, case number 24PRO00005, ABT LLC 2335, Bladensburg Road Northeast. This is license number ABRA 126737. This is a new medical cannabis cultivation center application. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet, residential parking and vehicular and pedestrian safety, real property values, and over concentration. Is anyone present on behalf of the establishment?
Cameron Mixon, Veritas Law Firm, counsel to the applicant. That's CAMERONMIXON.
Thank you, Mr. Mixon. Is anyone present on behalf of 2800 V Street Limited Partnership?
Nelson Moskowitz, NELSONMOSKOWITZ.
Thank you. Mr. Moskowitz, is anyone present from the partnership?
Yes, Ali Farchishe here. ALI, last name is Farchishe, F is in Frank, ARD, S is in Sam, HI, S is in Sam, HEH.
Could you pronounce your last name one more time?
Yep, it's Farchishe.
Mr. Fashishe, are you an attorney representing 2800 V Street Limited Partnership, or are you representing the partnership?
I'm a partner in the partnership.
Okay, thank you. I have a question for you. The partnership filed the protest as an abutting property owner. So can you explain how the partnership abuts the establishment?
Yeah, so our property is approximately a 17-acre property, industrially zoned, where we have a few industrial tenants, and it has a curb cut on Bladensburg Road where vehicles enter our property, and that abuts the Powerhouse Cultivation property. And then it also, the backside of the Powerhouse property lines our property line as well. So the northern and eastern boundaries of the property both abut our property.
Okay, that is what I was able to determine via the DC Geographic Information System. That appears to be exactly as you said. And I'm granting standing to the partnership as an abutting property owner. Is anyone present on behalf of the Gateway Community Association?
Yes, Gilbert Smith is present. I'm the president.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Could you spell your name for the record, please?
First name is Gilbert, Gilbert. Last name is Smith, SMITH.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And can you confirm that the applicant was given at least a 7-day notice of your meeting concerning the application?
She was given notice of our meeting.
Thank you. Is anyone present on behalf of the Adams Row Homeowners Association?
Yes, Nicholas Mallon.
And Marinia Scott.
Just a second. Mr. Mallon, can you spell your name for the record, please?
Yes, NICHOLASMALIN.
Ms. Scott, could you state your name and spell it for the record, please?
First name is spelled M as in Mary, O as in Oscar, R is in Randy, I is in Igloo, N is in Nancy, I is in Igloo, A is in Apple. And last name is Scott, SCOTT.
Is anyone else present from the association?
Carlin Hunter, KARLYN. Last name Hunter, HUNTER.
Thank you very much. Anyone else from the association? Okay, thank you. Homeowners Association do not have standing as protestants. Therefore, the Homeowners Association is dismissed as a protestant. A board order will be issued dismissing the protest. The protestants will have an opportunity to petition the board to reconsider the decision made today.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher.
Excuse me 1 second. Mr. Mixon?
I believe there's a preliminary issue in this matter as well. I believe we have several groups of threes and an abutting property owner here as parties, and yet, according to Title VII, the only parties withstanding to protest medical cannabis applications are advisory neighborhood commissions. There are no advisory neighborhood commissions before you today, Ms. Fletcher.
Ms. Fletcher?
One second. Ms. Hunter?
Yes, I see a note in the chat that our ANC commissioner is trying to log on and has not been let in.
Well, the ANC did not file a protest, and so the ANC did not receive a WebEx invitation to attend the mediation. I mean, not the mediation, to attend the roll call hearing today.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, is anyone present on behalf of a group of three being represented by Maurice Hendricks?
Yes, ma'am. Maurice Hendricks here. MAURICE. Last name Hendricks, HENDRIX. My wife is also on the line, but I feel like her mic might not be working. You can see in the chat her name, Kimba. K-E.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
yes.
There she is.
This is Kemba Hendricks. My name is Kemba. First name is Kemba, K-E-M-B-A. Last name Hendricks, H-E-N-D-R-I-X.
Thank you very much. And anyone else from your group, Mr. Hendricks, present today?
Yes, Patricia Brown, P-A-T-R-I-C-I-A, first name, last name Brown, B-R-O-W-N.
Thank you. Is anyone present from Althea Carter's group? Ms. Carter, are you there?
Yes, I am. Althea Carter. A is in apple, L is in labor, T is in table, H is in history, E is in even, A is in apple. Carter. C is in car, A is in apple, R is in real, T is in table, E is in even, R is in real.
Anyone else present from your group today, Ms. Carter?
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Owens.
Let's start with Mr. Owens. Would you spell your name for the record, please?
Rupert Owens, RRCAUDOWENS.
And Mrs. Owens?
Ruth Owens, R-U-T-H-O-W-E.
I can't hear. Whoever's speaking right now, I can't hear you.
Ruth, R-U-T-H. Owens, O-W-E-N-S.
It was Ruth Owens?
That's right. Yes.
And we have another group of three represented by Cindy Smith. Ms. Smith, are you present today? Ms. Smith, are you present? Ms. Smith was present for the previous case. She is also representing a group of three. I mean, she was present in the former case. She's not here right now, apparently, but are there any other members from the group being represented by Ms. Smith present?
Yes, Gilbert Smith.
Mrs. Smith, can you spell your name for the record, please?
Gilbert. Last name is Smith, Smith.
Anybody else?
Not from the group of three, but our ANC chair, Jackie Manning, is on as well.
The ANC didn't file a protest in this matter.
I just want to be on the record that she is attending.
thank you.
this
Thank you.
session.
Thank you for letting me know. Thank you. As I mentioned, Miss Smith was present in the previous case. I don't know if she dropped off. I can't tell if she dropped off. What were you going to say, Miss? You're going to say something, Mr. Smith?
She did. I just don't want to not speak if you don't acknowledge me, but I thank you. She did drop off. She had other commitments. We were told
Okay.
that this roll call hearing would take no more than 30 minutes by the
Oh,
administrative assistant.
oh,
And on average,
let
it
me
will
make a
take,
note of that too. Thank you.
yeah, and if you need a record of that, I can email that to you as well.
No, that's okay. I believe you. I just have to make notes of things.
For what it's worth, we are in a second case.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Mr. Mixon?
For what it's worth, we are in a second case. It's
Say
going
that
to be
one more
long.
time.
This is a second case.
Yes, this is the second case, yes. And so I'm going to give Ms. Smith credit for being present right now, although she's not. I knew she might have to drop off. The hearings have lasted much longer today than usual, but there was no chance the hearings today were going to last 30 minutes. Mr. Smith, just so that you know. Just a second. Okay, and so Mr. Smith, I've got you and I've got Cindy Smith and so there are only the two of you present today for this case. Leon Seegers is not present. I'm just confirming that because he was present for the last case. And I'm going to spell his name because I said it. His name is spelled Leon. The last name is Segears. Mr. Smith, what that means is, Mr. Smith, what that means is that this group of three is granted conditional standing rather than full standing because only two members of the group are present instead of three, which means that at the upcoming status hearing, that third person needs to appear in person, at which time the board would grant full standing to the group. But we're going to go ahead and proceed with setting up the mediation, the status, and the protest hearing. So in this case, we have as protestants 2800 V Street Limited Partnership as an abutting property owner. We have the Gateway Community Association. We have two groups of three that were granted full standing as protestants because the establishment is located in the Langdon Park Moratorium Zone. The group of three represented by Mr. Kendricks is granted standing. The group of three represented by Althea Carter is granted standing. The group of three represented by Cindy Smith is granted conditional standing, and that third person will need to appear at the upcoming status hearing in order to be granted full standing. Mr. Mixon, I'm just gonna restate for the record that you intend to file a motion to dismiss the groups of three,
As well as the abutting property owner in this matter.
as well as the abutting property owner. Okay.
Although it's a preliminary issue, I believe it could be resolved at this roll call.
The board's agent doesn't rule on motions. And so if there's going to be a motion filed, it has to be filed with the board. I am going to now schedule the dates for upcoming proceedings. The day for the status hearing is February 14, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. The protest hearing is scheduled for March 20, 2024 at 1:30. We need to set a date for mediation. The next available day for mediation, let's see here. Normally, mediation has to be scheduled prior to the status hearing. The status hearing in this case is on the 14th. I'm going to give you, let's see here. We can find something the week of February 5. What about 9:30 on February the 8th? Is anybody available on February 8th? That's a Thursday at 9:30. What about you, Mr. Mixon?
That date does work, so if possible, and if the protestants would be amenable, could we schedule it adjacent to the February 9th mediation scheduled for the manufacturing license?
That's fine on this end. You want to do them simultaneously or just one after the other on that day?
I mean, I'll also, alongside moving to dismiss, I'll move to consolidate the two matters. We can consider them one going forward if that's, I understand it's not been moved yet.
It can be accommodated on this end.
Okay.
So that would be 10:30 for Powerhouse case number 24 PRO 0003. And let's say 12:30 for this case for Powerhouse case number 24 PRO 00005. So one case following the other.
Yes,
If that works for everyone on the same day, as opposed to two separate days.
Mr. Hendricks, yes, that works for me.
That works for you, Mr. Hendricks?
Yes.
Thank you.
Same for
Ms.
Mr.
Carter, that will work for me.
Who said that?
Ms. Carter.
Ms. Carter, that works for you?
Yes.
Mr. Moskowitz, what about you?
That works for me.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
That will work. I'll make that work as well. And for the record, I have to drop off and do another
Thank you.
business.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome. Mr. Hendricks, what about you?
I already responded, but yes, that works.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, that works for you.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Carter, did you respond?
Yes, I did. It works for me.
I'll notify Cindy Smith, who's representing the third group of three. Okay, so we have mediation scheduled for Friday, February 9 at 12:30 p.m. I will send out the WebEx invitations for the mediation. Anybody have any questions before I move to the next case?
I have a question. This is Patricia Brown. Who can, the representative for Powerhouse is, want the applicants' protest to be dismissed because they say there's nothing on record saying that we can protest. So who can protest them?
So who's speaking right now?
Patricia Brown. I'm under
Patricia
Mr.
Brown.
Hendricks' group.
Okay, you under Mr. Hendricks.
Yes.
And so what's your question again?
My question was, the representative for Powerhouse is protesting. Well, wants the applicant's protest to be dismissed because they say there's nothing written saying that they can protest. So my question is, who can protest?
I don't understand your question. I don't understand your question, Ms. Brown.
Oh, well, never, I don't know how to ask it any better.
Well, that's okay. You're part of a group of 3 that was granted standing as a protestant.
Right.
And you're asking me about what again?
I'm saying that the representatives for Powerhouse, I know we've been granted standing, but I'm saying, from my knowledge, because the applicant's representative is saying there's nothing written saying that our groups can protest, I'm saying who can protest what is written somewhere?
So that when Mr. Mixon files his motion with the board, if he does to dismiss the group, the board will address that question at that time.
All right.
Mr. Moskowitz?
If you wouldn't mind, if I could receive a copy of the contact information for the participants, I would appreciate that. For the second hearing.
For the protestants present today, Mr. Moskowitz?
Yes. And the applicant.
Make a note. Okay, so Mr. Moskowitz, you want contact information for the designated representatives for the groups and for the applicant.
Thank you. Yes.
Mr. Gyalman, can you state your name and spell it for the record?
Sure. First name is Chander, Chander. Last name Jayaraman, Jayaraman.
Mr. Jayaraman, are you going to make a comment related to the case that we are presently being held?
No, I had a general question.
Oh, then I'll get back with you in a minute.
I mean, it's related to this case. It might be helpful to them.
Well, let me first note, Mr. Jayaraman, which ANC are you a member of?
I am a member of ANC 6B.
You're a member of ANC 6B. And you're going to make a comment related to the case that's presently being held?
My question was about the emergency legislation passed by the city council providing additional 45 days for ANCs to protest these licenses.
And so the ANC intends to protest this?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm just asking about the city council passed emergency legislation granting ANCs an additional 45 days to submit letters of protest in cannabis cases. I was just wondering if that has been considered here or if that's an option for people who've been dismissed. That's all.
Well, so to my knowledge, the ANC has not filed a protest or exercised the right to do that if that time frame has not yet passed. And so what you're saying right now, Mr. Jayaraman, does not apply to the case being held at this time. But if the ANC decides to file a protest, it'll be dealt with at that time, but it doesn't affect the outcome of any of the decisions made today.
May I make a comment, please? This is Commissioner.
Just a second. Mr. Jayaraman, are you still there?
Yes, Ms. Fletcher.
Okay, and Mr. Jayaraman, if you have any other comments about that issue, you can email me and I'll get back to you right away.
Yeah, no, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So I see Jacqueline Manning.
Yes,
Miss
Commissioner
Manning,
Manning.
would you?
I'm the
Miss
single member
Manning, would
district.
you? Miss Manning, would you spell your name for the record, please?
Sure. JACQUELINE. Manning, MANNING.
And Miss Manning, you're going to make a comment related to the hearing
Yes,
presently
because
being held?
yes, because the way the notice went out, and we do plan to submit a letter for within the 45 days because of the emergency legislation.
Okay.
So it will also, I will email you as well with CCing the council member on the stat to grant the parties, the ANC, great weight in this matter. Because
Okay.
because I, as a single member district representative, did try to contact them and I did not get a response. And therefore, when contacting ABRA as well. So we do have enough time for this because you all give us, this is for the record, ABRA gave us a short period of time and that came out during the holiday. So I had the opportunity to notify the Gateway community. And also I do plan on supporting my single member district representative and those to get them granted party status within regarding this matter, this case today of Powerhouse in that location. That's
Okay, and that applies to both of the Powerhouse applications, Miss Manning.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you haven't filed a protest. Which ANC is this?
This is ANC 5C04.
ANC 5
C as in Charlie,
Okay.
04.
Okay, and so you still intend to file a protest because you have time within that 45-day
Yes, ma'am.
limitation. Okay, and so all right, then we'll just wait to receive that. I've made a note of that, Miss Manning.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it for letting me speak.
Thank you very much. Anything else in this matter?
Ms. Fletcher, if the applicant may.
Mr. Mixon?
Yes. I'm not sure to what extent you've held roll call hearings subject to the latest council legislation so far, but to my knowledge of existing ABCA procedure, rule standing is resolved if not needed to be resolved by motion, as in the instant matter. Is generally parties granted standing are determined based on their communications with ABCA prior to the roll call hearing, and so I don't believe that future protestants should be added to this matter, as a valid protest letter was not filed prior to today.
And so, Mr. Mixon, you would be saying that the petition deadline has passed?
Yes.
This is Patricia Brown again under Mr. Hendricks. But Commissioner Manning had additional 45 days, so it has not passed because she has additional 45 days.
Thank you. Mr. Mixon?
I would need to confirm the effective date of the revised legislation, but the protest petition deadline was several weeks ago, and I believe the legislation was passed after the January 8th deadline.
And so that issue will be resolved beyond today. If we receive protests from the ANC, then we'll address those issues at that time. So we've scheduled mediation for February 9, 12:30. If there is nothing else.
I have one more question.
Okay,
will you
who's
be
speaking?
sending that? I'm sorry, my name is Patricia Brown again.
Okay, Ms. Brown,
will you be I'm
I'm sorry,
sorry.
Ms. Brown, give me 1 second. I just wanna, trying to keep this record straight here, Ms. Brown. Which group are you with?
I'm under Mr. Hendricks.
You're on the Mr. Hendricks group. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So will you be sending that information out to Commissioner Manning as well? I
will
would
be
appreciate
sending,
if you would.
so as of today, there has not been a protest filed by the ANC, so I will not be sending any information to the ANC, but if the ANC files a protest, they will receive a response from us. But for the purpose
Okay,
of the
with
roll
all
call here,
all the different dates that
yeah,
were,
none of those dates apply to the ANC at this moment.
but once her letter is sent and you receive it, you
It
will
depends
send
on
her
when,
all the pertinent information. That's my question.
it depends on when we receive it. As of today, there's no protest filed by the ANC. If the ANC files a protest, we'll look at the dates again. The dates stay the same. The ANC is not a party at this point.
Yes, I understand that. But my question is, the ANC gets her letter in, her protest letter in within the time limit. The information, will she receive the information that was agreed upon today?
If the ABC board grants standing to the ANC upon receipt of the information, and they do that prior to the dates that have been scheduled for today, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, it looks like that's everything. I don't see any other hands raised, so I am going to conclude the roll call hearing in this matter, and I'm going to call the next case. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher.
You're very welcome.
Thank you,
Okay,
Ms.
the next-
Fletcher.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Hey, the last case on the calendar today is No Kids Allowed, case number 24PRO 00006, Seedless LLC, 637B Pennsylvania Avenue Southeast, license number ABRA 126742. This is an application for a new medical cannabis retailer. The protest issues are adverse impact on peace, order, and quiet, residential parking, and vehicular and pedestrian safety, and real property values. My name is Laverne Fletcher, conducting the roll call hearing as the board agent. Is anyone present on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, I'm the applicant, Brittany Okafor.
Mr. Okafor, would you spell your name for the record, please?
Yes, Brittany, last name Okafor, as in Frank, OR.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of ANC 6B.
My name is Chander J. Raman, representing ANC 6B. Spelling of my name, first name Chander, Chander. Last name Jayaraman.
Thank you, Ms. J. Rahman. ANC 6B does have standing as a protestant. We need to set a date for mediation, the status hearing, and the protest hearing. I'll give you the date for the status and protest hearing first. The status hearing is scheduled for February 14, 2024 at 10:30 a.m. The protest hearing is scheduled for March 20, 2024 at 1:30. I will give you the next available day for mediation.
Ms. Fletcher, I have a conflict on the 14th.
Oh, okay. Okay, conflict on the 14th. Mr. Jayaraman. You can send an email to Martha Jenkins to let her know and request a new date for the status hearing. That's the date that was given to me for the board availability. And when you make that request, can you copy the applicant? Would you need the applicant's contact information?
I have it.
Okay. And so I'll just let her know that a request to change that date will be coming.
Yeah, I have a conflict on the day, but a week later on the 21st would work. Just wanted to let the applicant know that for the record as well. Just that date, I can't.
Just making a note, requesting new steps.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. In that case, let's see here. Are you available the 15th or the 16th, or do we need to look at the following week?
No, I think the 16th works for me.
Ms. Okafor, does that work for you? The 16th, Friday, February 16th?
Yes, that works for me.
What time, Ms. Fletcher?
Anytime between 10:30 and 1:30.
Brittany, is there a time you have a preference for?
11 sounds great.
11?
Is this going to be virtual, Ms. Fletcher?
Yes.
Okay, 11 a.m. works for me.
It will be virtual, and mediation is scheduled for Friday, February 16 at 11. And I will see you then.
One other thing, Ms. Fletcher, the parties are able to meet and go over any settlement agreement during that time frame in between now and mediation. Is that correct? And if we can work things out, which, just for the record, the applicant has been very cooperative, and we appreciate their willingness to work with the ANC on this.
Yes, if that happens and the matter is resolved prior to February 16, the mediation will be canceled. And if the board approves the settlement agreement, then the status and protest hearings will be canceled.
Great.
Okay, Ms. Okafor. Do you have any questions? Ms.
I do not have any questions.
Okay, well, thank you for coming and thanks for your patience this morning. And I'll see you in mediation unless the matter is resolved. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
See you on Friday.
You're welcome. The roll call hearing in this matter is concluded, which concludes the roll call hearings for today.